Morning, boys and girls. It's Monday, 2 weeks from the last Monday I was here. I did say I was going to do a video of what I did last week, but it didn't really lend itself to very much recording. Basically, I had, I don't know, I think I put it in a previous video, the big trees coming down in the garden. Well, now that the trees are gone, it was time to clear the garden of all the it's not been cared for the last 15-20 years, so it needed complete clearing up. So I hired a digger, got it in. While next door had been knocked down, we had access to get a digger in, so that was the time. So I cleared the whole site, piled it all up ready for a grab lorry to come, and made a start on revealing the jetty. On that property we have a jetty at the bottom of the garden in the local river. Unfortunately, due to next door building their jetty up and the abandonment of next door, ours was in sort of a trough, as you like, and it just got filled up with silt. I couldn't get the digger down there, so I had to, well, I could get some of it, so I dug probably 2/3 of it out with a digger, but the rest I've had to do by hand, so I'm still in the middle of doing that. But anyway, I'll chuck in a couple of pictures maybe and some video if I did get any. I did try, not really properly filming, but just a few odd videos that I was sending friends and whatever have you about it. So I'll try and put that in here, and maybe if there's some pictures I'll do a voiceover. But anyway, so that's that. So back to this week now. Over the past week where I've been doing the garden, I had a couple of evenings, well, one evening and Saturday just gone here, with my friend Alan, the one whose Series 1 Land Rover I took to the exhaust place in a few videos ago. He come and helped me make a start on the Caravan, so I'll show you that. The Discovery, which you might be out here running outside, obviously we did the manifold a couple of weeks ago, and then the exhaust fell off. That's all now rectified, so the exhaust is all back on. What else? The fuel flap release, that wasn't working. That's all now done. Just bits I've done on Saturday, just gone once Alan had left. I just had an extra couple of hours, so I've got those done. So at the minute, it's running and idling nice and quietly. The key's still working. The battery's obviously holding charge because I haven't started it for over a week and it fired straight up. So yeah, so I'm going to use that this week, make sure it's all good, and then we will advertise it for sale. I have still got the airbag light on, so maybe today I'll get the steering wheel off and just check, make sure that's all plugged in. I'll code read it again, but I'm sure it was the steering wheel. Also today, the Mini Cooper S that's for sale, or will be for sale. The window has got stuck down, so I've got to take the door card off anyway to put the chrome handle trim back on, because I don't know if you can see, that's missing. But you've got to release the handle to clip it behind, so we've got to get the door card off anyway, so I will try and sort that window out. I think it's just where it's not been used, it's gone down all the way and probably got stuck in the rubbers, so we'll give them a bit of a clean out. So yeah, so today it is disco airbag, mini door card, window and handle, and then this afternoon I have got my friend Mikey coming to the house with the garden that I've cleared, because there's a lot of reeds in the river around our plot, and they're obviously stopping water flow in and out when the tide comes. Well, I say the tide, when the river rises, it's not really getting a flow behind the reeds on our plot to clear. So we're going to go out on the boat this afternoon and pull some of those out by hand and just try and clear it a bit. So anyway, let's get on with the cars, and I'll quickly show you the Caravan. Right, and here's the Caravan. The floor is down. I'm sorry the lighting's not very good in here. We haven't got any power, but yes, we have a floor down. So next job is to order the wood when I get some pennies in the pot to redo all the walls and the ceiling and the rear wall. I've got to fix some holes down there. What I'm probably going to do is put some gaffer tape on the back of those, fiberglass over the front, line it with aluminium, and then board it over the top. We're going to have a wall here at the end of the bed, so you go either side to the bed, and then we'll start putting in toilet, shower, fridge, freezer, sort of gas hob, etc. So, but the floor's down. That was one of the big things that needed doing. So next is the walls and to repair the ceiling where the cupboard was. So yeah, that was a good start. I really appreciate Alan's help for that. My brother-in-law took all this out of his flat a few years ago, and I've stored it ever since. So yeah, it's time it got some use. Now the reason the bed is cut like that is because it was 90-degree round up against there, so we had to cut it and refit it around the shape of the back of the Caravan. But now it's going this way round. Yeah, it'll just have to live with that. But once the board's there, you won't really see it. And I am going to block off that bottom window. Probably just spray the inside black and then board over it, because obviously you don't want your heads right by the window, or if your feet are the other way around, you don't want people looking up your bits. Anyway, so that's what we've done over the last couple of days, just getting this floor in. So as expected, it was just dirty runners, so I'm just gonna, there you go. So I'm just gonna grease all them up now, and then give them a clean so they actually move. All right, so I used some clear grease to lube it all up, and it's nice and free now. Oh, that one there. Right, to get the handle loose, you've got to get up there, and there's a 5mm Allen key. I just can't get a bit driver and ratchet in there, so I've got to use a Allen key. And as that loosens off, that should pull the front of the handle out, which means we should be able to slip the chrome trim over. So I'm just going to undo that quickly. Right, so I undone the Allen key from inside, just enough to pull this out enough. I didn't want to take the bolt all the way out to hook the handle over. And now to undo this side, you lift up this rubber thing here, and there's a hole. And you can see through there to that Allen bolt. But if you use a T30 Torx on a screwdriver, you can get to it. It's a lot easier than trying to get an Allen key in there, unless you've got like a Allen key T, a T socket thing with an angled edge that fits in there. But a T30 did the same job. So now that's hooked over, I'm going to do them back up, and then we should be done. There we go, sorted. Right, I'm just plugging in the machine now just to see what the SRS airbag code is. So I'll go through it all and I'll show you when it comes and detects it. And that's the code we get. Driver's airbag circuit, open circuit. So I think we need to pop the steering wheel airbag off and have a look at the squib behind it and make sure that's all right. But obviously I've got to take the battery off first. So I'll clear these codes and just double check before I take anything apart, and then we'll go from there. But as you can see, SRS light is on. So let's clear them and just make sure it does come back before we start taking it apart. Right, I've had the battery off for a while now. I've undone the right hand bolt. It's a T30 up in there. So I'm just going to undo this one again. There's only two on the back. You just get your T30 in there, find the head of the bolt, and might need two hands. Yeah, hang on. Right, I've undone both and the airbag should come off. Right, and there's obviously the wiring. It says open circuit, so I don't know if the squib's knackered or the airbag's knackered or whatever. So what we might end up doing, I think, is unplugging all this and popping the steering wheel off and having a look at the squib. Maybe we'll change that. Steering wheel's held on with a 19mm. I've loosened it off, but obviously not taken it all the way off until you actually loosen the steering wheel, because you don't want the steering wheel smacking you in the face. So with that loose, you've got to wobble the steering wheel just to get it off the taper. So I'm going to do that off camera, obviously, because I can't do it with one hand. And it goes without saying, make sure the steering wheel's straight before you take it off. So I've undone the nut, loosened the taper, and now the steering wheel can come off, and I've just got to feed these through the hole. Right, so with the steering wheel off, this fit doesn't feel very nice at all. So yeah, what we're going to do then is undo the shroud, get the shroud off just with the screws underneath there, and one below this panel. You've got to undo the two retaining screws either side. There's one behind those, and then I'll take it off and see if I've got one on the shelf. And there we go, replacement one's just back in loosely, and the SRS light has gone out. So let's just turn the ignition off and back on again. SRS light comes on, still on, and goes off. So it was the airbag squib thingamajiggy, so we've swapped that. So all's good. So other than waiting for the logbook to arrive back from COPART or DVLA, this is ready to go. I think I'm going to take it for a test drive, use it for a few days just to make sure it's all good. So fantastic. Right, well, it's now Wednesday. Didn't do a great deal Tuesday. I just had a big move around in the workshop, which I'll show you in a minute. But I've been using the Disco, and I've got some for sale signs in it. No problems, so I'm just going to keep using it until either I need to use something else or, you know, it sells. So back in the workshop. Yeah, so we had a little bit of a swap around. Hang on, it's probably easier if I switch this round. Hang on. So I moved the Defender out of this position and put it underneath the mezzanine, brought the Mini out so I can do some work on it, which meant I had to move the stairs around, but actually that kind of works a bit better than being across that bay. So I brought the Mini out, and I had room to park the R53 in here as well, so that saves leaving outside. So today the plan is to pull the Mini out and do some work on it finally. I picked up some seats over the weekend. They are MGTF seats, exactly the same as the ones over there that I had in the Defender, or have in the Defender when it goes back in. But obviously these are on the Mini subframes, so that means we can actually test drive it once bits are put back on. So let's clear the roof off and pull it into the open space and make a start. Right, so we've got the rear lights in and the boot number plate light, and that's all working. So that's the rear end electrics. Well, I've got to test the indicators yet, but at least we're getting power up there. Bit of progress. We have side lights, and we have dip beam, and we have main beam. There you go. This is just dip beam and side lights in a minute. So next job, just to sort out some indicators. Alright, well there you go. That is actually my very first drive. Yeah, we've done a few bits this week. Obviously got all the lights in. Bumper's temporarily on, it's a bit broken. Number plate obviously. We've got seats in. I took the headrest off so I could get in. And I've put a rear window in, which is an opening one. I've got to do the other side, but this didn't have any window at all, so at least that's all fitted and in. Centre caps on the wheels, obviously still got to sort the wing out. Around the back, rear lights, number plate, boot seal. This was a mare. This, I had to take it from another tailgate. The clips are a right pain, it took forever. Still got to sort the boot out. So yeah, oh, it runs, it drives. That is the first drive. I would show you all the lights working, but you're not that bothered. I can tell you they work. Yeah, so I'm chuffed. So that's Friday afternoon. Right, so yeah, next week we will get up on the lift, sort the inner arches out, get the arch trims on, order a couple of bits from mini spares, hopefully, like a door seal. We need to sort the washer jets out, bits and pieces like that. But other than that, we are getting there. So that'll be it for this week. Sorry I didn't film much doing it, but I was just cracking on, to be fair. And it was all hard. It's only a mini. It's hard for you to see in and what I'm doing, but yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe and share, and have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Sorry I'm a bit sweaty. Ta-ra.